Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, customer treated the waiter terribly, so I made her an alcoholic cocktail. The second story, manager makes unwanted advances on me for a year, and after encouraging him to divorce, I get him fired. The third story, D throws entire pack of cigarette butts into my mom's pool at a graduation party, so my brother made him work extra hard at his job 10 years later. The first story is, rude to a server, enjoy your stronger drink. A while ago I was working for a popular restaurant chain. I was a bartender there but frequently picked up serving shifts. Often I was responsible for training our new employees, and honestly I preferred training them so they knew how to do the job properly. As such, I pretty much was responsible for training the majority of our new hires, and because I spent their first few weeks at their side, I felt responsible for them. Anyway, one particular server that I had was this sweet boy, who was great with customers, and would literally bend over backwards to please someone. I don't know if I've met anyone who cared about others like this since. As such, I felt particularly protective over this boy. One particular shift I was bartending and he was serving a larger party that had been sat near my bar. I could overhear everything that was happening while he served them. The lady who I assumed was the head of the party would not give this kid a break and was constantly talking over him, asking for things that we've never had on the menu, of course claiming she'd had it last time, giving him attitude for these non-existent items, basic entitled customer nonsense. I could see this server was visibly becoming flustered with the table, but unfortunately in food, that's what you have to learn to deal with. The turning point for me was when she snapped at the server over a birthday song. Our establishment does not sing happy birthday to tables. However, we do offer a free sundae. The server explained this, but she was not having it. He even very politely offered to sing, but warned her it would only be him singing, as the other servers likely wouldn't join in. She was incredibly rude to him about this, and I was behind the bar fuming. As he finally goes to ring in their entree order, she rudely asks him for another mojito, saying that I hadn't made it properly. Another thing to note is that our location is next to a hockey stadium, so based off whether we have a game or not, we'll prepare drinks in different glasses. I hadn't been thinking, and had made the drink in the wrong glass, so of course I was fine remaking it in the proper glass. She might have been a B, but I did use the wrong glass for a non-game day. Apparently she thought she deserved more alcohol since I made a mistake. She sent the drink back and ordered my server to tell me to give her more liquor. One thing you never tell a bartender, make my drink stronger. So of course I remade her mojito with 0 alcohol, except for 2 drops of rum down her sip straw. She certainly enjoyed her stronger drink, and even ordered 2 more. Hope you enjoyed paying almost $30 for 3 drinks, with maybe a quarter ounce of liquor altogether. Don't mess with my servers or insult my drinks. People who mistreat waiters and people who serve will pay for their behavior. I hope your subject enjoyed the alcohol the witch paid for but didn't get. The poor kid deserved a drink after that shift. I'm glad bartenders like you exist. It's always annoying when people habitually complain about it instead of ordering a take. It's even more annoying when they're rewarded for their behavior. My rule, don't make life difficult for the servers. Yes, they're there to serve customers, but they're still human. Most servers use the job as a means to make ends meet. Not many consider service a dream, and nothing against those who do. You're the real heroes. Just be a decent human being to those who are human too. We all have SH days, and that's no reason to be an a-hole to someone who's doing the service. Also because they might not get enough alcohol in your cocktail. The next story is, cheaters deserve loneliness. I started a new job 3 years ago, and after about 6 months we got a new manager, M. M was a nice enough dude at first, and was newly married to a woman who seemed nice enough from what I was able to see, whenever she stopped by for a visit. M and I got along pretty well. Both Redditors, same sense of humor, and similar music and TV tastes. After a while though, M started giving me unwanted advances. He would compliment my appearance a little too extensively. I would catch him looking at my body as we talked. It culminated to M pulling me to his office one day and telling me how in love with me he was. His wife was a B. He didn't know he would meet me before marrying her, etc. I immediately refused, but I tried to be tactful about it because I still wanted my job. He got upset and tried to pull me in for a kiss, but I pushed back. I didn't give an SH about tact anymore. An idea hit me though. I told him to divorce. He of course said he couldn't, blah blah blah. But I kept insisting, and I promised him that I would be his if he divorced her, but not before then. N went quiet and said he would see what he could do. I spent the next year recording and logging all unwanted advances towards me he made. I was careful to not deliberately egg him on, and I would politely tell him every time he did it that I did not want these advances. Each time he would say he understands but he can't help himself. I was very close to quitting because I didn't think that my revenge was going to play out. But then M comes into work and announces that he's starting to divorce his B wife. It was as if the heavens had split open and the hand of God himself extended towards me. I made a point of avoiding M the entire day. At the end of the day, I went directly to the general manager and shared all of my logs. I also sent them to his soon-to-be ex on Facebook. I blocked him on everything and triple-checked that I was set on the max privacy settings. He was fired after a couple of days. Attempting adultery didn't look great in court either. So he lost quite a few luxuries he and his ex-wife had shared. Absolutely no reason to ever cheat on someone. F him. It's been a little bit since everything is done, and I've heard he's alone and has been teetering on alcoholism lately. Edit. To address some criticisms of my actions, I'm making this edit because it hinges on a complete misunderstanding of what actually happened. The first encounter was when I told M to get a divorce and insisted on it. I only said it after he attempted to assault me. What I didn't do was tease him throughout the year of harassment. I didn't say the specifics of what he did because I didn't want to. I still don't want to. In fact, I should not have to. I made it clear M tried to assault me on our very first discussion about this, so I don't know what warranted the assumption that he only gave me harmless flirting. Here are some of the things he attempted to do that I repeatedly told him not to do until we were in a relationship. Attempt to kiss me more, touch my body and say, "Come on, baby." Every single time he did this type of SH, I told him not to do it again. If he touched me, I would remove his hands from me. If he insisted we kiss now, I would tell him only after he divorced and never before. He would do it again because he did not care about me. To repeat from my original post, he said he can't help himself. He can't help but give unwanted attention to women. Just because I promised him a relationship after he divorced does not mean my consent to sexual acts no longer matters. As to why I waited a year, that wasn't a predetermined date. It was actually closer to about 10 months. I was just waiting until he announced he was divorcing. The reason for waiting until he divorced was because I wanted to hurt him for hurting me. I wanted him to think that he had power over women in his life before I took it away. It was selfish, sure, but I don't think that's a bad thing. And finally, the divorce proceedings. It was honestly just something I had heard from some friends of theirs. They said they had a prenup. I don't know if that was the true case 100%, but I trust the people who told me that. In addition, he's now living in a really SH part of the city and frequents a bar that some friends of friends hang around. I hope this clears some things up. Edit 2. I actually been thinking about reaching out to his ex now that everything has been settled to make sure she's doing alright. But in all honesty, while I know I did the right thing, I feel a little guilty that I was the person to expose everything. They were together for years before they married. But I think I might as well at least check in on her and offer a hello, congratulations, and condolences. I think you did the right thing and you shouldn't blame yourself for it. You did good, and dear little M dug his own grave by first trying to cheat on his wife by assaulting you in the office and then continuing to harass you for a year. And you saved God knows how many other women, including M's ex-wife, from a ton of crap and harassment or worse from this guy. I've heard a lot about how many times women and men get harassed in the workplace and then get trouble for parking about it, so it's great, OP, to see a victory in that. A lot of people might think it's the OP's fault for cheating on this guy for a year, but it's not. If this guy wanted to be with another girl, then before he makes the first move, he should break up his current relationship, because it's just wrong to do this kind of nonsense while you have someone else, which is either who you're with now or who you might be with in the future. The last story is, if you're gonna smoke an entire pack of cigarettes and throw the butts into my mom's pool, I'm gonna make your life hell 10 years later. This happened at my high school graduation party. I'm the youngest of 5 children, and after watching 4 siblings get a party after they graduate, I decided I wanted one too. But I didn't want some crazy rager. I just wanted maybe 10 or 15 kids I was close friends with, and I made sure that everyone I invited was personally invited, so that I knew everyone there would be respectful of my parents' house. Well, we all know how easy it is for one D-bag to catch wind of these things and invite themselves. In my case, it was, let's call him D. D is that one kid who has to be a troll about everything in life. He has no real friends. He's that person that gets introduced as the a-hole friend. The party was fun, no one got hurt, and the cops never got called. This was out in the country of California, so you could get away with drinking as a teenager as long as the popo didn't get called. The next day I came outside and looked at my mom's pool where a lot of people were hanging out in the night before, and the pool was chock full of cigarette butts. All Marlboro Red butts. It was disgusting. I swept them all out with a net, and even had to jump in later to pick up some trash off the bottom. My parents worked really hard to have this pool, and now it looked like trash. I spoke to a few of my friends who said D told them it was all one of our other friends, who threw all the butts in the pool. I believe D, because the other friend was also a smoker, and he was there all night by the pool, and and he was pretty drunk too. But since no one actually saw them do it, I never knew for sure. I let it go simply because they were drunk 18-year-olds being stupid, but I was still mad my friend had disrespected my house like that. And since we were all graduated, it wasn't like I could see these people at school on Monday to ask what happened. I'm 28 now, and I still talk to a few people I went to high school with, including the friend who got the blame for the butts. During a random phone chat, my party got brought up, and I told him I still never gave him any SH for all the cigarettes he threw into my mom's pool. He got really defensive and said he would never do something like that, and that it was actually D who sat by the pool all night and threw his cigarettes in, because he didn't know anyone there, and he didn't give an F whose house or pool it was. The revenge. My brother is in an electrician's union as a journeyman, and he called me to tell me he got a new apprentice who graduated the same year as me. Guess who it is? Yup, it's D. So I told my brother everything he had done, and now every time my brother needs grunt work done, guess who gets put on SH detail? You guessed it, D. He calls me every other week to tell me all the ways he made his life hell at work. My brother hasn't told him exactly why he's getting all the SH jobs, but he did let it slip that I was his little sister, so I'm sure D has thought about it. Edit. D told a few people it was other friends, and it was one of those heard it through the grapevine things. It was also summer vacation after graduating high school, so it wasn't like I was going to see a good majority of these people again, and I wasn't spending my time trying to solve the cigarette butt mystery. At the time, I didn't know other friends all too well either. He was a friend of a friend, who asked if they could bring him first, so I was okay with it. I should have mentioned that earlier. We ended up being really good friends years later. By then I had forgotten the cigarette incident for the most part, and it never really came up until it came up during a recent phone conversation between us. I just said, "Hey, I never gave you SH for throwing all those butts in my pool at my party." And he said, "Oh hell no, that wasn't me, it was D," and explained his whole side of the story. And after nearly a decade of friendship with this guy who still smokes, I've never seen him flick one single cigarette butt anywhere but a designated ashtray. Sorry for the life story, I just had to clarify. There's no statute of limitations on paying back an a-hole. That's the moral of all these stories, not just this one. Don't be an a-hole. I sincerely believe that these petty retaliations are a form of social justice that keeps jerks like D at least somewhat in check. Even subconsciously, they realize that their a-hole behavior is causing them problems, and it chills them out. Because they wreak havoc, and after punishment they reflect on their behavior, I hope. Subscribe, hit the like button, and have a nice day.